Hi guys. I think that's enough time. People will join as we continue the session. Hi everyone, welcome to Web3 Security Masterclass series. So we'll be doing this every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. UTC plus 3, that is East African time. Behind the microphone is IJ. I am a developer, a software engineer. I'm also a blockchain dev, and I'm a Cifrin ambassador. And the one who will be taking us through the sessions is Scott. He's an auditor. I'll just give him the space to introduce himself while he kicks off the session. So today's session will be a little bit easier. We are going to do basically just set up your tools, what you need, how to get started into Web3 auditing. And at the end of the session, I'll share the opportunity of 7.25 ETH bounty that we have currently. So stay tuned. Scott.
Hello guys, I go by Huxley Scott. I'm a blockchain dev, blockchain security engineer, software dev, all that. Today I'll be taking you through this process. Uh, uh, in the poster, it says the audit process, the rekt testing, and the security tools used by most professionals. Yeah, so that's basically where we'll start by. Okay, let me start by sharing my entire screen.
So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hands, so that while the session is ongoing, so that make it easier for Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. So today basically we'll be going through the process of looking at smart contracts and basically just the audit process. So basically what's an audit process? Basic that, as you can actually currently we are not only being called auditors, it's more of a security review. That's basically what you're doing on the smart contract. It's just looking at the contract, looking at the review, vulnerabilities, if there was anything missing, what are the naming conventions, anything informational that you can find on the smart contracts. Yeah. So that's basically it. For today, we'll go mostly control panel. Yeah, show my screen here. That's how it goes. Yeah, so that doesn't look like much is going on. Yeah, so this is basically where we will start from for today. So basically, like we've just said, smart contracts are actually they are predefined contracts that are on blockchain that only an event occurs when it has actually happened. Yeah, so like for today, where do we start? Let's start
Papa,
with
sitting room
the
haina
process.
meza
Like, what's
kama
the
yangu.
process? What do we look at? Uh, what are the prerequisites that we need? And with that, I think I can have. For most of us, I think we need to have Foundry installed. Foundry, how to install. There are people who are using Linux. There are people who are using WSL, but I think for Windows is a bit different. And if you already have it installed, I think if you just do like a Foundry app, this is like basically like updating it. And once you have it, I think is when you can have things you can let's split window. Once you have it installed, you can now use things like Forge, you can have Cast, and you can also have Anvil. This Anvil, the thing for I think blacksmiths. Anvil, yeah, that Control C. You get like to use all that kind of thing. So if you really want to install it, like these are the processes. If you have it, you can install it on your Linux, Windows, and also for the Mac users. I think from there we can just
Utanipigia kelele?
start like okay. So let's have something like Forge in it. Let's zoom in if possible. Plus Shift plus plus. Do I zoom in on the terminals or on the screen? I think that's basically it. Yeah. Let's start with mkdir. Let's call it smoke. cd to smoke. Unit current file. Yeah, so if you do accordion on this, it will actually open more of VS Code, and if you do an ls here, you can basically see the files that are there. So if you come here in terminal, we can now have like we can let me zoom in here. So yeah, so we can see the files that are here. So these are like a basic example of a smart contract with more of an set number of a counter that just adds on an incremental value. So remember, I said you can use things like Forge, the Forge command line for like this case, you can use Forge build, it builds it for you, Forge coverage to see how much coverage it has. Yeah, and you can see this actually gives you like a more better view of it. And also another thing, just to understand more of this, you can also use there's this test file you can even see on the test. Let me make that a bit bigger. For this test, you can see how many tests they had. And we also, when you come to found.toml, you can see most of the configurations. And if you come to this link and click on it, yeah, so like here you can see most of the configuration that you can even have on your found.toml. Yeah, so if the SRC, these are actually more of the same. Someone speaking. Len, is it Len or Totino?
Oh.
Leah, do you have something to say or a question to ask?
No, you can continue.
Oh, yeah. Here you can have, you can even see on how you can configure your found.toml files if there are things that you really need to add based on the contract that you have. Or you can ask a question.
Leonard, you can ask your question. You have just and understand.
Hello,
Yeah, ask your question.
is this class continuing or is it procedural? Like,
Uh, okay, finish asking.
because me, I've just logged in today. I've just attended it today.
Oh, okay. We've been having like two previous ones, but I can keep you up to date. But the previous ones were not that intense, but let me just keep you up to date. So basically, this is a masterclass on Web3, and we are going to look at a language called Solidity. Solidity. It's a Web3 language that you people use for on the blockchain side of things like Ethereum, anything that's on Ethereum. Most of them are written in Solidity. So that's why we have this class. And Solidity, actually, they have vulnerabilities, and with the vulnerabilities that are there, that's why we have this class. Another thing. So up to there, are we at par?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and with that, since we are going to look at the Solidity code or part of it now, it's like we are now getting the more of the prerequisites that you will actually use, that you can use to audit your smart contracts. Now, for this case, we actually you can use things like Hardart, Foundry, and even Ethereum Remix. Ethereum Remix actually here is another option that you can use, but if you're really going, there are some tests that you can write on Ethereum Remix and actually interact actually very good. But for this session, I'd prefer we use Foundry because of how hands-on it is and how you get to interact with the Solidity code, get to understand it, and even like know more in how actually Solidity works, and you can use Foundry to leverage most of the vulnerabilities there. So that's why we are taking you guys through this Foundry and how to install it, which is just basically just some few commands. Yeah, and that's where we are currently. We haven't started looking at some deep stuff. So this is just automatically generated when you do a forge in it. Once you've installed Foundry and forge, question, income messages. Yeah, so the command that you use while using Foundry are basically most part of it you just be using commands like forge. If you want to get more of a boss information about it, you can just have the help function that will give you more information on how you can use the forge command. Yeah, so that's where we are so far. And I've also taken guys through some of the processes before, but as we'll be going through this, actually you get to understand more of it. Not that you are very far behind. Actually, it's good that you actually joined. Yeah. Yeah, so this is actually the command that you use to install. This is just part of it. Foundry app, specific version, blah blah blah, all that. Yeah, and actually that's basically it on the Foundry part of things. And also another thing that we can use, or is it my VS Code? Yeah, here. When you even come and look at the code, you right click it, you can see this thing called Solidity Metrics. These are just tools that can help you understand a code more. When you click on it, it gives you something like this. Yeah. something like this. It just helps you to understand the scope of the code that you have. Remember, this just as maybe, where is it? Where the SRC? The source file. These are 14-line file, but when you come to like using the solidity metrics, of which when you click on the extensions and you have solidity, yeah, here it is. You can just install it. This is just to help you to understand the scope of your code. And you can see it has found that we have one source file, the solidity file, number of lines of code, comments are 1, complex 6, just understanding the basically it. This is more of a graph of it, pie chart, interfaces, delegate call. These are things we'll get to know as we proceed. But for now, this is what we are getting. You can even see if there's an it transfer, low level calls, delegate calls, ERC recover. If the contract is destroyable, is assembly, you just get to get more information about it. This is more of a, when it comes to security, is more of a doing a reconnaissance to it. We are back to that. Yeah. Even these others you can still use. The adhering, the slither, of which EOPR we can just use it directly here. It's actually part of ciphering. Slither. Once you install it, yeah, it gives you like more vulnerabilities of the code. You can even look at it, go through this. If there's this API thing, since now we have API, we can use AI. Go just do a cross reference on AI, get more information about it. Yeah. So when we can even use Foundry to install libraries. You can just use, let's say we want to install OpenZeppelin. OpenZeppelin is a library that's on Solidity that can help you prevent some of the security issues in your code. So if you want to install it, you can just use the command forge install open, is it capital? Open Zeppelin. Yeah, Open Zeppelin. Let's get it. Yeah, here. Installing it might be different when you are using different tools. Like for this, what is it? I think I know it by head, by Offered. Where is my terminal? Yeah. Open. Open Zeppelin, then open Zeppelin contract. You actually, when you initiate, if you have Git, you can actually add the flag, the no commit, so that it doesn't give you more problem, no commit. It does, where is it? For install, I think I'm just getting this part of this wrong, but this is how you can actually install it. Even when it come to installing, here you have Anvil, Cast, Chisel. Okay, Anvil, Cast, Chisel, cheat codes. These are just tools, more of the commands that you can use while using Forge. The Forge command. From there, actually, let's look at one contract by, so that I can walk you through the whole process of this one. Actually, so let's say you already have a protocol has reached out to you, and you're supposed to be looking at a contract for them so that you can audit it. What do you need? Like, so what are the prerequisites that they need to have for you? What are the questions that you need to ask? Things like that. Do you have everything? How will you be interacting with them? Just things of the sort. Yeah, so like let's take this for example, yeah. But what I know, what will they give you first? They'll just give you like more of a ether scan to this. Let's click there. There's something I'm looking for. What I know is that they can give you an ether scan. Will you really need an ether scan? And with that, what do you really need to know? Since this is Web3, there are some tests that you also need to do, like more of a checklist, really. And those things are called like a rekt test. So, like, do you have all the actors? This is just basic. I can paste this in the chat so that you can take a look at it later. Yeah, this is more of a checklist when now a protocol they can reach to you before or after they are done with their code or writing their code. So this is more of a checklist. So first of all, you have the documentation of the process. Here you have all the actors, the roles, privileges documented. That's basically on the contract itself. Do you keep the documentation in check? Things like that. Code and testing. What are the tests that they've done? Have they done fuzzing or the invariants on their code? Things like that. So yeah, just like having a checklist that you're doing. So like you see when you click. So this is something you can have while checking out a protocol when they reach out to you or you're just doing a private audit for them. So this is like more of a checklist that you really need to like have on your end. Some of these might be different depending on the protocol and how you guys agree on your terms and conditions. Yeah, this is like now more of a general use rekt test. Yeah. So now let's take like this for example. Now these are password store. Password store. So this is actually by ciphering. Let me paste the code for you on the chat that you can also look at it later. Yeah, so there you go. And actually, most of when they give you a link to their Git, they also have to give like a commit hash. That's something you can look at later on. Let's go to this branch because it had some very important things we really need to look at. So we have like the minimal onboarding file. So like you remember when we did the thing, like when we used what's this solidity metrics, it gave us some of the information here, like the number of lines of code. Yeah, so here you can have those stats. You can see that the number of lines. This is a thing that you can fill by yourself. For that case, it's 20. Complexity score is 10. So depending on the lines of code, the complexity, it's up to you to set up the date timeline on how you do it, how you start. They'll actually even give you this. They'll actually give you more information just depending on how you want it to go. And most of them actually find the most common version control they use this. So like this, just a minimal onboarding for it. You can use git clone just to have it on your end. You CD there, you do a forge test like how we did. Is it not accepting? Like how we did on this. This where you use the forge test. You can even run it again. Forge test command. Let it compile, and you have things like that. Also, another thing, I'll speak of it as we go on. Yeah, so for instance, this the commit hash. Actually, now they'll have to give you a commit hash. They'll not just be using it, the git clone, go the file directly, and just changing the code and doing a security review of it. You need the exact commit hash that you really need to work on, because when they change a code, that means the whole process is basically null and void, because they've changed the code, and when they commit, the hash has changed. So they need to give a specific hash that you really need to work on, of which this will just do right now, no pressure. And with that, if you want to change, you'll just switch if you want to save your changes, you can switch to a branch so that you know what you're really working on. They give you the repo URL, but not the Etherscan one. Etherscan one, it's good, yes, you'll have more information, but you'll not have the exact file and the exact commit hash that you really need to work on. So in scope contract. Now for a case, this is the scope contract that we will need to work on. Depending on the protocol that you are working on, they might have multiple files that you really need to check out on. Yeah, and also the compatibilities. Like you can see here, it has compiled with version 8.18. This is a bit old, bit dated, I mean, and you can see here it has compiled with, where is it? When the compiler test, it will show, yeah, with SOC 8.25. My mouse, yeah. Yeah, so here's the rows, blah, 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 and all that. So if we go back, just go back and let's now git clone this to ls cd sudo. Do I really need to zoom out again? You can even open your mic and speak. So let's git clone. No, let's keep it enough in our directory so that it can be easier. Smoke again. Okay, they are. Smoke one, CD one, git clone. Okay, so let's close this so that we can now see always channel. So yeah, let's CD to 3. Unless now we have everything there, but remember, when you come here, actually the protocol is supposed to like give you the hash that you're supposed to be working on. Is there anyone who understands who is not how do I put it, does not get to understand Git very well? For this, you don't have to understand Git very well. Everything you can just Google or just use AI to help you with some of the processes. So since we have the commit hash that we'll be working on, that makes it actually very easy for us to do. So if you look at Git status, we're on the branch main, but now we just need to check out to the hash. So as let me expand it this way. Yeah, so basically right now we're on the hash, and when you do Git status,
Sasa kujifanya
we
unaona.
have the
Mbona tu
detached
unaona? Leta
form
hiyo
of it,
kitu.
the detached shell. But if you remember, I said if you
Wewe
want to
unapenda
save the
kuuma
changes,
tu.
you can use the git switch. So for a case, these actually will still remain on the hash git switch. Uh, see, let's call it smoke on. So if you do a git status, we are on smoke one. So if you do a codium, you can use codium cursor depending on which IDE you're using. But I this node Messiah. So here's everything. Here's our password store. Here's a test password store. There it is. Yeah. Here's the test. So that remember, you already have these seeds going on version 8.18. That's what's compiling. As you also can see down here, it's downloading the specific compiler version. And another thing here, you can even see the README file is also here on how you can deploy. There's some of the scripts. Actually, it's actually really good also to check on how they deployed it, things like that, like the library. You can see some, they even used Brownie for this. Is actually very standard when it comes to this, and also they use Open Zeppelin for this. Yeah, so that's basically it to that point. This is just a script for deploying, as you can see and that. See, but now our main focus, since we just want to do this, it's look at password store. Here it is. This is just the code itself, but since we are doing still reconnaissance when it comes to Solidity metrics, here it is. It's open. Just so that you can see. So basically, here we are supposed to understand the scope of it, password, the projects that files included. Remember back in the GitHub repo, they also gave us the scope to use. Uh, Depending on the protocol you're looking at, the scope can have a number of files. But you remember we changed to our branch, we're on smoke one, but the hash still remains the same. So logic contracts, yeah, there are actually types of contracts when it actually comes to Solidity. The ones that you write like this one are logic contracts. The Open Zeppelin one is a library contract, and things like ERC20s, ERC721s, those are, what's the name? Standard contracts. Yeah, those are basically types of contracts when it comes to Solidity part of things. And with this, let me do that. You can see we have 41 number of lines. Solidity lines are 4, comments are 15, complex code is 10. Yeah, total lines unit. These are just trying to get more information of it. So this more varies, overall average, things like that. Contract, library 0, interface 0. So let's say if part of the contract you use the library, you'll actually see it here also. Public, there are 2. External calls, those are 2. State variables are 2, which we get to see. Solidity version observed is 18. You can see that this just gives you a more broader view of the contract before you even start looking deeply into it. Yeah. Also, another thing, you can even use the C clock. Yeah. Use it C clock. C lock. Yeah. C lock.
Mommy, my bottle is a good.
GitHub.
Mommy, look at my bottle. Mommy. Good.
Yeah, this.
Oh.
Yeah, this is it. It will just like give you like almost the same thing. Let's actually even do it. Almost the same thing, just more of a reconnaissance thing when it comes to your contract. Oh. Here we do less cd src because see look I already installed it, so when you do even if you are that still work, still gives you the same thing. One file, blank lines are 4, 15 comments, code number of 20 lines. Yeah, still the same thing. Yeah, now that you're done with that, the next process is just getting to understand the code. Actually, these are password store. That's it, the contract password store. So for this case, like we get to not read the contract and understand it more. Uh, the contract is password store error, password store not owner. Address is private. Okay. String private saved as S underscore password. Just this the common convention. I think that's it. Camel naming convention of the sort. I think that yeah. We have the constructor which is called once. Here we have the owner, meaning the owner of this the owner that we msg.sender. Okay. Now here we have like first function, set password, string memory, need password, external. So as you remember part of the solidity matrix things, we saw that there was an external call. So here is one. Remember these are password and you're calling it externally. Now and as password is new password. Okay. You have an init there. Okay. So here we have the next one. Remember the external calls were actually two, and here they are. If this is not owner, let it revert. Actually, that's a good thing. But I think here is now where we have our first vulnerability. This here password string called externally, meaning uh, here can anyone call this because there's no restriction on who can call this. Anyone can set a new password. Actually, yeah, according to this. So that's a vulnerability there. Also, this we found that it's okay, get password, blah blah blah. But also when you come here to S password, remember this is saving it on chain. But is it really private? It's private, yes, from others smart contracts cannot see it, but I, who can already say call this externally, how can I see this? So this means there is a problem here that we really need to look into. Yeah. Yeah, so let's go to the terminal. So, and when you come to the terminal, remember we can do for to build it. As it does that, is there any question that you may wish to ask or a place that I need to clarify? Just anything just to keep this going. Oh, the reason why I'm not using AI yet is for you guys to understand because there's no need, in my own opinion, there's no need of you guys to use AI while you still don't understand the basics. Like, not really the basics, like what's really going on here.
Yeah.
All this you can still do with the AI. No pressure. Oh,
I don't know if it's just me or everyone is liking the whole hands-on session, like just doing everything live. Awesome, 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 awesome. Yeah, that was the whole point.
the reason why it's taking long, I think, is these are first culprit, and these are first culprit, second culprit. It's still installing. Yeah, but I hope I've walked you guys through it perfectly. You can still reach out. Now with this, I know how do I call it? You can now script your prompt on how you can do this. Now that's up to you. But the good thing is now you get to understand on how like the whole process goes before you get into AI. Another thing when it comes also to smart contracts, you still have to do a lot of manual review. Like if you read the whole contract, this is a pretty short one. You can get some of even in excess of 100 lines of code, in excess of 100 lines of code and multiple files. It's actually, in my own opinion, better for you just to read through it, get to understand it, so that you might find that there's a vulnerability, like let's say, for example, here. But when you come down here, it's already solved. It's already been solved, but you still took it as a vulnerability. But when you go, as you read more of the code, you get to understand that's not a vulnerability. It has actually been solved elsewhere. Yeah. So I think I can take it back to IJ.
Mm-hmm.
From next week, I think we still have like 12 minutes. It's
Okay.
taking too long. Next week is we get to look at the tests, write our own tests, get to understand the tests. Like so, for this case, contract password store is test, password store public. Okay, see here is already public deployed password store. Is it Siemens? Please finish.
Because I'm not in the group. Okay, so I'll just answer the questions that I'm getting on the DM. So hi Regan. If you've signed up with the Luma, I'll share a follow-up email via Luma with the recording and all the resources, and also like receive a newsletter with everything and how to prepare for the next session.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to butcher your name. Sharina, are you trying to ask the same question for the recording? Great. Awesome. Nice. Do you have any questions about the session? Please ask the dumbest question. Like, Scott, why are we using Foundry and not the others? Like such questions. They help you understand why this and not that. Like, I think when it comes to development and engineering, mostly the architectural system architecture and design is what actually matters, because when you're working with tools, you also need to make trade-offs, right? So in this case, we need to ask Scott, why did you pick Foundry and not this one, so that Scott will like elaborate, I picked this over this because of this and that, stuff like that.
Oh, actually, on that, you even asked a question. The reason why you choose Foundry is because of this. This is actually the test file. Or what you guys can also realize that you still continue with the same Solidity code. You still write the same Solidity, so you don't have like to change your language. Like when you're using Hardart, sometimes you have to do a little bit of JS. And it comes to
Yes.
the same Solidity file, even when you are referencing it on your test file, it becomes really easy. One of the reasons why I chose Foundry, or I use Foundry for I myself. Not really, but if we really have to, we can do one on first flight just to get out of scope of what Cycling have, so that we can really get to understand one without we got just get to dog one as it is, Nakuja as it comes, so that you even get to broaden your view, get to understand more. more ways on how smart contracts can be hacked, because Solidity, there are different versions coming new, and every day you can still find a 0 day on Solidity. So we'll go through some, but not all.
Baba, sasa nataka kuongea. Unyamaze, nataka kuongea. Osha mkono.
Is there any other question? The dumber the question, the better. Trust me, that works for me.
Yeah, we are not judging anyone. Like, that's the whole point. We want to, like, the whole point of this series is to at least have like 5 people join the auditing, like the cybersecurity side of Web3, and like start earning money. That's the whole point. Even if we walk away with just 2 people who like will say, I went through this and I learned this and that, that's success to us. Trust me. Okay, so Patrick, you've asked about the audit. So I wrote an article on Papirafo, which is like a smart contract where you hack and then you get a free puppy if you want. So I'll just share that on the chat, and if this actually makes sense, we might schedule a few sessions to like do maybe the first 2 intros on like the cybersecurity course offered on Cifrin, because we are doing free courses and we are making sure like we show you like with like whatever. If you have time, you can learn anything you want. You don't need to like pay money for these kind of skills. So I'll just go ahead and share that article on X, so that you can also like look at it and start like your own security journey using the Cifrin courses. Yeah. Tutor. Channel. I think due to public demand, Mary, we will now create a community for this. So we are pretty. This is the first session of the series. So I have all your emails on Luma. So basically, I'll be sending out newsletters and all communications on there, and then I'll also like create a community and just share with you guys, so that you can be in one place where you can like share and just understand everything that we're doing here, and also like ask questions. Scott, are we done for the session?
Hey, yeah, for now we are done.
Okay, great. So you can stop sharing, so that I can share the awesome news that I have for these amazing people who have stuck with us all through the session. Thank you so much, Scott. We really enjoyed the whole hands-on session, and promise, trust you me guys, this is how it's going to be in all the following sessions. So every Thursday of every week, we're going to be meeting here at 8 p.m. East African time, and we'll be sharing and working. Yes, I will do that, Chibi. I will definitely do that. So without further ado, I want to share the awesome opportunity. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see it? Oh, okay, great. So, Cifrin, for those who joined the previous sessions, I showed you the whole developer like Web3 security audit journey. So Cifrin has just launched this audit, and it's via Codehawks, and the prize pool it's 7.25 ETH, and it's actually live today. So you are among the first people to see this. So the amazing thing, Scott has already gone through Foundry, how to set up Foundry. He has also shared tools where you can use to scan your contract. So why am I sharing this opportunity? This site is free. Anyone can sign up for this site. You don't need to pay, and you're actually paid because there's actual money over here. So yeah, and with time, Scott will also show us how to write a report. When you see a vulnerability, there is how you need to write your report and explain where you find the vulnerability, how it should be fixed, and stuff like that. So yeah, so have fun. So I'll just share this on chat here. I'll also drop the link to this. So CodeHawks is actually free. Be sure to sign up. Let me just look for the yeah, this course. I think this course is also important for everybody. So Cifrin is also free. You can create your account. Is there a community